Hey guys, I'm Jake and I work with Estrella Family Services at the Gardner site. Their mission is to strengthen and enrich the lives of low-income children and families within the Santa Clara community. And they try and keep parents working while encouraging family stability and kind of preparing children for school, academic success, and just being able to kind of grow into their own physically and mentally. There's a lot of different programs that Estrella Family Services offers. They have after-school programs, enrichment programs, and in-school programs. I work with the preschoolers, the 4 and the 5-year-olds, and that's an in-school program, so I go between 9 and 11 a.m. every Wednesday morning. And usually when I first get there, it's 30 minutes of circle time, and the theme that I've picked up on is that every time it's circle time, they always start with the name game. So the name game is basically all the kids are in a circle, and each kid comes up one at a time, so you get picked if you're doing good and you're sitting and you're being quiet. The teacher picks you to come up and perform the name game. So you go in the middle, you say your name, and then you do a dance move, and then everyone claps and it's like, ooh, ah. So basically the coolest dance move that you can do is to jump up and down. If you can jump up and down, everyone thinks that that's really cool. So I just think that it's interesting. I know that we talked about that in class, that jumping is one of the later stages that comes along in terms of your motor system development. But they definitely like to show off their ability to jump. Then there's like another time block in which the kids are always doing different things each week. So for example, the first week, there's a little group of kids that I was helping them to kind of construct, I was more observing, but they were constructing a tower and kind of like building a train track, and I was just kind of helping to support them a little bit. But it was really interesting to sit back, and in terms of trying to draw a parallel to class, Vygotsky's example of cooperative learning, they were kind of talking to each other about how the pieces should fit in order to build the track or to build the tower. And it was kind of funny because they would always put like one block at the bottom and then try and put like 3 blocks on top, not knowing that the most important part of a structure is the base. So I try not to say anything, but they figured it out eventually. They had to talk about it. One of the kids is a lot more stubborn than the other one, so I try and just kind of help them along and kind of facilitate teamwork. But for the most part, that is one of the more fun activities. A pretty large group of kids, they like to build and do different puzzles and things like that. And the second week, they had a Zootopia book, which I guess is the class favorite book. So one of the kids brought it to me and asked me to read it. And one of the characters in the book is a police officer. And one of the boys, his dad is also a police officer, and he never fails to tell us. Every time we flip the page and there's a police officer, that character, he will tell us every single time that his dad is a police officer, which I think is adorable. And I also started to pick up on the 3rd week that he kind of acts like a police officer too a little bit. Just like on the playground, he's like the guy that kind of like tries to enforce the rules. I think that's really cute, and it's kind of like a example from the ecological systems theory, the microsystem, how the family and his parents influence his development and just the way that he thinks. He's a really good kid. He's always like on top of his tasks and really disciplined, probably more than the majority of the other kids. So I just think that's funny how his dad being a police officer has influenced his behavior just in terms of that. And then the 3rd week, a couple of them did a puppet show for me. So they have like a little stand, they'd go behind it, they have the little puppets, and I think that was an example of their socio-dramatic play. It was a very comprehensive puppet play. They were obviously doing it on the fly. They didn't have anything rehearsed, but they all had their little hand puppets, different animals, different characters. Everyone wanted to be the pink elephant, so I had to kind of choose one kid to be the pink elephant for the first show, and the second show they were able to switch so that someone else got to be the pink elephant, which was the coolest character you could be. And so they would just go through with that puppet show and have a lot of fun and really interact and take on the actual roles of the characters. And one of the characters happened to be a bunny who was a police officer, and so the boy whose dad was a police officer wanted to be him, and nobody argued with that because he was always the police officer every time they played, and he took on that role. So again, like just another example of socio-dramatic play. And yeah, so that's basically it. I love working with the kids. It's super fun. It's a really interesting experience, and I just love how you can draw parallels from the class and really see it come to life in the classroom. Thank you for watching.